Ever wondered how you would react in certain situations? Would you make the correct choice, whether it's choosing whose life to save over another's, or making the right decision to save your own life?
Give me all your money!
These hypothetical questions will test your morals and your decision-making abilities, with each choice leading to a different outcome. Shall we begin your test? Fear of space is fear of the unknown.
Complete. Hello, Captain. There is an urgent matter that requires your attention.
You're the captain of the HMS Alexandria, a deep space exploration and research vessel tasked with exploring the galaxy's furthest reaches, discovering its secrets, and returning home with any samples or knowledge that could advance our understanding of the cosmos. The mission carries a high risk of fatalities, as evidenced by the fact that you have already lost 2 crew members to harsh weather conditions on an alien planet.
Danger. Radiation storm approaching. Help! 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 Help!
Leaving just 3 of you remaining. You, the captain, Eleanor, a brilliant scientist, and Jenkins, the pilot. The journey has taken years. It's been long and perilous, but you're finally returning to Earth with a breakthrough. Eleanor, in her genius, has discovered vital medical research that could potentially save hundreds of thousands of lives. But as you begin to orbit the Earth's atmosphere, all 3 of you are awoken by the ship's artificial intelligence, and the news it brings is not good. To your dismay, an engine failure has led to a catastrophic explosion, tearing a hole in the ship and also damaging Eleanor's cryopod while she was inside. She's severely injured and losing blood, but she's alive and conscious. Due to the close proximity your ship is to Earth, you can afford to use the ship's emergency escape pod.
Emergency pod.
But unfortunately, it only holds 2 people. You have an extremely difficult choice to consider, and time is running short. On the one hand, you have Dr. Eleanor Vasquez, a respected genius whose research could potentially save hundreds and thousands of lives. While her research is backed up on a data disk which you have in your possession, without her transcribing and explaining her findings, there's a possibility the research might be useless. She's also severely injured. Would she even survive the journey back to Earth? Then there is your ship's pilot, Lieutenant Mark Jenkins, one of the best pilots you've ever seen. He's gotten you and your crew out of many sticky situations with his maneuvers. With him at the helm, there's almost a guarantee that the escape pod would make it back to Earth in one piece. Jenkins is a military man and believes strongly in the chain of command. He would stay behind if you ordered him to. No questions asked. And finally, there's you, the captain. Would you go on the escape pod? Choice 1. You decide that the Data and Eleanor are too important to lose. You drag her weak body to the escape pod and order Jenkins to stay on the ship while you depart. He's still in shock, staring blankly as the hatch closes. You launch the pod and immediately head to the pilot controls. You hope your basic training is enough to get you back to Earth safely. Only a few minutes after taking off, you notice a huge flash through the window. The HMS Alexandria has exploded, and the blast has produced an electromagnetic pulse, or EMP, which has affected the escape pod's electronics and made piloting it even more difficult for you than usual. As you enter the Earth's atmosphere, you realize you're thousands of miles off trajectory and are heading directly for the Atlantic Ocean. After crashing into the ocean, you activate the pod's emergency beacon. Help eventually arrives, but it's taken over 72 hours for the nearest ship to reach you, by which time Eleanor has succumbed to her wounds. The data disk was also damaged in the crash. Some of the data was recoverable and still included important research, but the bulk of Eleanor's findings and research died with her. While you are heralded by some as a hero, many see the fact you abandoned your ship and your pilot as cowardly. Choice 2. Eleanor's injuries are severe. You feel as though she most likely wouldn't survive the journey back to Earth, so you opt to leave her behind. Instead, you order Jenkins to pilot the escape pod back to Earth, while you be the passenger. Eleanor tries to follow you to the escape pod, but you depart before she catches you. You watch her through the back window as the pod departs, leaving her behind. A huge flash almost blinds you as the HMS Alexandria blows up before your very eyes, the blast resulting in an EMP. However, with Jenkins piloting, that should not be an issue.
Nothing to worry about, just a minor malfunction.
He takes you down to Earth towards the landing zone. Jenkins lands you comfortably back down to Earth, but the mood is somber. You look at Jenkins and see his face is full of regret. You both agree to not mention the fact you left somebody behind. You pass on the data disk and hope Eleanor's work can continue. However, without her around to explain her findings, progress is very slow. It takes years before her medical breakthrough can be used to save lives. Years which weren't kind to Jenkins. After the incident, he turned to drinking to forget, until the drinking didn't work anymore. As for yourself, being labeled a hero felt hollow, as the guilt guilt of leaving Eleanor behind also weighed heavily on your conscience. You always think back to that day and wonder if you made the right decision. Choice 3. You decide that Eleanor and her research take priority. You give a weak Eleanor the data disk, and with the help of Jenkins, you strap her into the pod.
We're gonna get you some help, Eleanor, okay?
Her only hope of survival is if the escape pod reaches Earth fast. It needs a good pilot, which means you have to stay behind. They both give you one last look before you close the hatch. You stand and watch as the escape pod travels towards Earth. You know you've made the right choice, but you've also damned yourself. You close your eyes. And then darkness. Beware of the weather. You are part of a skilled team of mountaineers dispatched for a high-altitude rescue operation. A few climbers trying to reach the top of a notoriously challenging peak have found themselves trapped close to the summit because of an unexpected and fierce storm. They are situated at around 25,000 feet, where the air is thin and the environment is harsh. The storm shows no signs of letting up, bringing heavy snow, strong winds, and frigid temperatures. The climbers have lost communication with base camp, and it's likely they are running low on essential supplies. You set out with your team of rescuers. You've just reached a lower base camp at 22,000 feet, and the window for safe travel is shrinking. The storm is expected to intensify further. Your team has limited time to reach the stranded climbers before the weather completely deteriorates, which could leave them exposed for days. You have to decide how to approach this rescue mission. You have a choice to make before you continue with the rescue mission. Which of the following seems like the best course of action to you? Choice 1. Ascend directly to the climber's location at the summit, using the fastest route.
Let's divide into two groups.
Choice 2. Send a small scouting team ahead to assess the climber's condition and determine the safest route.
Let's be careful about this.
Choice 3. Climb to a higher camp and wait for the storm to pass before attempting the rescue.
This storm is too dangerous.
Choice 4. Turn back and call off the mission in case the storm becomes too intense for your team. Choice 1. You choose to head straight for the summit, hoping to rescue the other climbers as soon as you can. The path you take is straightforward yet perilous, featuring areas prone to rockfalls and a significant chance of avalanches. The danger is considerable, but it's the quickest route to get there before the storm intensifies. The wind howls, the snow is blinding, and the altitude takes its toll. The climb is grueling, and halfway up, one of your team members slips, spraining their ankle. You push on, knowing the stakes are too high to turn back. As you near the summit, you reach the climber's location. but it's a race against time. The climbers are alive, but barely. One is unconscious, and the other two are suffering from severe frostbite. You manage to get them back down, but the descent is treacherous. With one of your climbers injured, the journey becomes even more dangerous. As you descend through the snowstorm, a small avalanche hits. And one of the rescued climbers is caught in the slide. You save the others, but the climber is lost. Choice 2.
Keeping radio contact and good luck.
You send a small, experienced scouting team ahead to assess the climber's situation. This would allow them to travel faster than the full rescue party traveling together. As they ascend through the storm, communication becomes more sporadic, and it's clear the conditions are worsening. When they reach the climbers, they confirm that all three are alive, though the injured one is at high risk of frostbite. The report is grim. The route to them is too dangerous to traverse quickly, and any attempt to bring them down immediately could result in more casualties. The scouting team takes shelter with the climbers and waits for the storm to subside. After several more days of dangerous weather, you make a second attempt to rescue them. This time, you take a safer, slower approach and manage to get all three climbers down safely. Though because the climbers and the rescue team were exposed to the elements for so long, many of them are suffering from exhaustion and frostbite. Luckily, your rescue team supplies kept them all alive long enough for you to rescue them. While the delay resulted in frostbite and a long recovery, you saved everyone. If you chose decision 3 or 4, both have similar consequences. You decided to wait out the storm and not put the lives of your team in danger. When the storm finally cleared after a couple of days, you made your move, but unfortunately, it was too late. You reached the climbers and realized the storm was too severe, and they had all succumbed to hypothermia. The decision to wait was the safest option for your team, but it came with the devastating realization that nobody could be saved. A life in your hands. You were driving home late at night down a long stretch of a deserted dirt road. On either side of the road is dense, thick forest. In your headlights, you see a disheveled man limping along the side of the road. He looks exhausted, his clothes torn and covered in dirt. You slow down, and as you roll down your window, he stumbles toward your car. You notice something. His wrists are bruised as if they were recently in handcuffs. His face seems familiar. Then it clicks. You saw his picture on the news earlier today. He is an escaped convict. The news report mentioned he had been convicted of murder, but he claims he was wrongfully accused. He insists he is innocent and was only trying to escape a corrupt system that would have executed him unjustly. You are alone on the road. No one else is around. The nearest town is miles away. He pleads for your help. What do you do?
Help me, man. I am gonna die out here. I'm innocent, man. You gonna let an innocent man die?
You have a few options. Choice 1. You drive away and call the police. Choice 2. You sympathize with him and drive him to the nearest town. Choice 3. You give him food and water and drive away, leaving his life to fate. Choice 1. As the man pleads with you, you decide you can't trust him. What if he is a murderer? Your heart pounds, but you decide to play it safe. You tell yourself that you can't trust a stranger on a lonely road, so you hit the gas and leave him behind in the darkness. As you drive away, you decide to call the police and turn him in. He gets captured by the police within the next few hours. Weeks turn into months, and you slowly forget about the encounter. Until one day you stumble upon the news. It's about his trial. He is still pleading his innocence, and while the evidence isn't damning, he's sent to prison for life. You carry on with your life, but from time to time, you can't help but wonder if you had a hand in putting away an innocent man for life.
Help me, man. I am gonna die out here. I'm innocent, man. You gonna let an innocent man die?
Choice 2. You choose to place your trust in the convict and allow him to get into your car. He climbs into the back seat, expressing his gratitude as he settles in.
Thank you, man. You're a lifesaver.
You proceed along the dirt road, making your way to the next town. During the drive, he appears appreciative, pleasant, and even charming.
Call this the old country.
However, at some point during the trip, his attitude shifts. He grows distant in response to your attempts at conversation, and the atmosphere in the car becomes unsettling. You start to feel nervous and uncomfortable. And as you glance in the rearview mirror to get a good look at the stranger, he catches you looking at him. You make eye contact with each other, and that's when you catch a glimpse of it. A glimpse of some kind of weapon in his hand. Choice 3. You choose a balanced approach. While you don't completely trust the stranger, you also don't want him to suffer. You opt to exercise caution and keep your door secured. You hand him some food and water through the window while maintaining a safe distance. The stranger, albeit hesitantly, accepts it, but he continues to beg you to let him inside your car.
Please, can I come inside your car to get warm? It's so cold out here.
Yet, you don't give in and drive off, leaving the stranger to face his fate in the night. Time passes, and your life moves forward. But eventually, your curiosity overwhelms you, prompting you to find out what happened to the criminal. you hadn't been so careful on that eerie night on the desolate dirt road. Oh no, a shark has snatched your child. You and your child were swimming in the ocean. Just 5 meters in front of you, a shark appeared and snatched your child. What is the best course of action? Bearing in mind, you don't have long to make the decision. With every second gone by, your child is losing oxygen. To be safe, you might want to swim away. Some sharks hunt in packs, so it takes strategy to swim away safely. Because sharks are ambush predators and prefer to attack from behind, keep your eyes peeled at all times. A predatory reaction may be triggered by abrupt movements, so move slowly and deliberately. When you're retreating, you should never turn your back on the shark. Proceed toward the nearest exit with composure and ease. Avoid kicking or splashing wildly, as this imitates the actions of wounded prey. If the shark gets close, show your dominance with strong, forceful gestures. You should be able to swim to safety, but you've left your child behind. You may want to try and save your child. In which case, after submerging, you need to locate the shark. Visibility will be low, but in the event you do locate the shark, then target its vulnerable spots. Focus on its eyes, gills, or snout, as these areas are particularly sensitive. Striking, scratching, or hitting these regions might compel the shark to let go of your child. In the event that the shark does release your child, you must act quickly and get them to safety. Sharks are more likely to attack again if there is blood in the water, so keep your eyes peeled and get ready to defend yourself. You locate the shark and your child more easily than you anticipated. And after striking the shark's eyes, he releases your child. However, your child is bleeding. Unfortunately for you, this shark was not alone, and the blood in the water prompts further attacks, leading to your demise. Maybe you should have retreated instead. A moral dilemma. Imagine this. You were born into a great and loving family. Did well in school. You married your childhood sweetheart. Both of you became respected in your chosen careers. Started a family together and had a child. Life was going good. Until one day, the worst became reality.
Be suspicious of persons that exhibit signs of infection.
A virus outbreak, spreading across the globe rapidly, causing people to become sick and turn into vicious killing monsters. A real-life zombie apocalypse was unfolding before your eyes. 8 months later. You're currently held up in a fortified warehouse on the outskirts of a ruined city. You're the leader of a group of around 20 survivors, including your wife and child who managed to escape with you in the initial outbreak. Food is running low, but trust is running lower. The only thing keeping everyone together is the shared fear of what's outside. Faced with a dire food shortage, you decide that a small group should undertake a dangerous supply run. However, things don't unfold as expected. The supply mission takes a turn for the worse. A swarm of the undead forces you to escape, and amid the turmoil, one of your companions, your wife, finds herself encircled by the zombies. It is believed she has been lost. You returned back to your settlement empty-handed, with no food, and also mourning your wife. Later that night, you take your teenage child to the rooftop to break the bad news, but as you stand on the roof, you hear a weak, desperate voice calling from the alley below. It's your wife. She's alive, but barely. She's covered in blood. She must have hidden and waited for the horde to clear. "Let me in," she gasps. However, you can see she's clutching a wound. Your child looks at you and begs you to go help. But is that the right decision? What would you do? Choice 1. Don't let her back in. As the leader, you're responsible for the lives of everybody in the settlement. Your wife may be infected, and you've witnessed firsthand how fast people can turn after being bitten. Choice 2. Let her back in, but tell the rest of the group. They may not like your decision, but at least they know there's a potential threat. Choice 3. Let her back in, but hide her from the rest of the group. She may not be infected after all, and hiding her will mean she's safe from any paranoid group members. Choice 1. You refuse to let your wife back in. Your wife begs you from the alleyway, but you do nothing. Your child also pleads with you, but they soon realize it's falling on deaf ears.
Help her.
They give you one last look of disgust before retreating back inside, leaving you standing there on the rooftop, staring down at your disheveled wife. She begins beating on the door and screaming to be let in, but you refuse to move. Eventually, her noise draws undead, who begin to swarm her position. You turn your head away, knowing what's coming, but it doesn't help make things easier. Choice 2. You go down to the main door and let in your wife. She's weak and has lost a lot of blood.
Help me.
You carry her to the rest of the group for immediate medical attention. But as you lay your wife down, you look around and realize that none of the other members of the group are following your orders to assist. They are instead staring at you with worried looks. After a while, one of the stronger members breaks the silence, saying, "You know the rules. We Don't allow injured people inside. They could be infected. He then pulls out a gun and walks towards your wife. You do not stand for this level of insubordination. You are their leader, and you can't show weakness. You pull out your own gun and tell him to stand down.
Whoa, take it easy. You know what needs to happen? Or are you breaking your own rules now?
Your wife is infected. You're gonna put us all at risk.
Yeah, your leadership's been questionable lately.
The low morale, due to the lack of food, causes other members of the group to turn on you. They see your decision to allow your wife back in as a terrible decision that puts them all at risk.
Put the gun down. You're outnumbered. It's over.
Your only option is to surrender. Your life is now in their hands. Choice 3.
Help me.
You let her back in and hide her in a storage closet that is rarely visited by other group members. She is severely hurt, but you do your best to bandage her wounds. Only time will tell if she turns. That night, you stay with her, and she becomes weaker throughout the night. You're still unsure if this is due to her wounds, or if she is turning. However, you're unable to stay any longer because the other members of the group will start to suspect your absence. So you leave her and hope for the best. You and a few other members depart for another supply run. This one goes well and morale is high. But when you get home, you realize something is seriously amiss. Your child went to see how his mother was doing while you were away. She had transformed into the undead without his knowledge, ambushing him and wreaking havoc in your compound. 3 people, including your child, were dead when the dust finally settled. You were blinded by your love, and the results were disastrous. What could go wrong? Imagine this. You and your best friend, Sam, are on a hiking trip in the remote mountains of Alaska. You've convinced him to come on the trip as he's just broken up with his long-term girlfriend, which he reluctantly agreed to. After a long day of exploring the wilderness and hiking, you head back to your camp. The sun is setting, and the forest is draped in shades of orange and pink. You're almost back to your campsite when you hear it. A low, guttural growl coming from the trees behind you. You turn and see a massive grizzly bear emerging from the brush, its eyes locked on you, its body tense and ready to charge. The bear sniffs the air and takes a step closer. Sam looks at you in fear, unsure what to do. He looks to you to take charge. You need to make a decision. Fast. Which option sounds like the best course of action? Choice 1. Run for your life. Maybe you don't need to outrun the bear. Maybe you just need to outrun Sam. Choice 2. Stand your ground and make yourself bigger. If you show dominance, it might scare the bear away. is ticking. What do you choose? Choice 1. Your instinct is to run as fast as you can. You know the grizzly bear is faster, but if it goes for Sam first, you're more likely to get away. It's become a life and death situation, and you want to survive. You use all your strength to push an unknowing Sam towards the grizzly bear, and he stumbles to the floor. You then turn and run for your life. You will most likely survive, but you also will have to live with the guilt of betraying your best friend for the rest of your life. Choice 2. You square your shoulders, spread your arms wide, and yell as loudly as you can. Sam follows your lead. The bear stops, its head tilting in confusion. For a moment, you think it's working. Then the bear roars back. It charges. You provoke the bear into attacking, and it's a fight you can't win. Choice 3. You keep your eyes locked on the bear and your arms raised to make yourself look as big as possible, taking slow, measured steps backward. Sam follows your lead. You keep moving slowly, never turning your back, never breaking eye contact. After what feels like an eternity, you reach a dense patch of trees. You carefully maneuver behind the trunks, putting obstacles between you and the bear. Once out of its line of sight, you signal to Sam, and the two of you silently retreat back to the campsite. Both of you have just survived a potentially lethal bear encounter.